What would you say?
And you use right to foster unity among us. Let us use coronavirus to unite us, to foster unity. This, my leader, is our leader. Let me only tell you, only a foolish man will be thinking that I will have one day have issues with Yaya Adozabelo. I will not have any issue with Yaya Adozabelo, let me tell you. It will never happen. Because when people didn't believe in me, he believed in me. So why will I fight him? I can do anything, I can defend Yaya Bello to any level. Because when people didn't believe, Yaya Bello stood his ground. He said, I believe in smart. So I will not betray him, inshallah. Nothing will happen. We will work together. Whatever is the decision of Yaya Adozabelo, I will stand by it, whether it is good or it's bad. I will stand by it. That's the lesson of my loyalty to him. You know, and I have some people have been talking. Whenever Yaya Adozabelo is leaving office, if he likes, let him bring my worst political enemy as his successor. I will support him. I'm not in a hurry to buy anything. Whoever Yaya Adoza bring, we will support the person. So let me tell you that I am a progressive-minded person, and I'm a man of faith. I am a man of faith. I am here by the grace of Almighty God. In what my Muslim brother will say, it is God who brought me here, using Yaya Adozabelo and all of you. So I will continue to give my utmost best to all of you, defend our interests at the national level. There is no interest to defend in Kogi, because Yaya Adozabelo is a just and fair person. Am I right? Am I communicating? Yaya Adozabelo is just and fair. So there's nothing to fight with him. And also is our neighbors, our in-law. How are you going to fight your in-law and your neighbor? Do good. The Bible says, love your neighbor as yourself. So please continue to give your support to our government in Kogi State and at the federal level. I want to thank you. We begin, not to waste much of time, we begin with Kogi West now. Yaba West, so that we can move on. And maybe before then, we'll allow our commissioners that have one or two things to say.
No matter the angle you want to look at it from, the message has been passed. Talking about loyalty, addressing the people just to cushion their or take their mind off the worries of COVID-19. That was Smart Adeyemi, yes, the senator from Kogi State.
Supporting the government in good and in bad. Not in good and in bad, like in terms of in good or bad situation, like in good or bad decisions.
Oh, that's like I said, no matter the angle you want to look at it from, loyalty was what he preached there. And he said he's a man of faith.
Yes.
So the governor got his back when he was contesting, and he said he wants to.
So he's expressing his loyalty to the government, irrespective of whatever situation. And his statement about COVID-19 actually bringing the people, bringing unity and bringing people together.
And then him making references to the holy books, do good, love your neighbor as yourself. Exactly. That's quite a good one.
That's it. Good morning, and this is Daybreak Africa on Television Nigeria. My name is Mercy Joe.
And I'm Elvis Oga. Sincere apologies for bringing you Daybreak Africa late, but thank God we are here to bring you all that is daring in this program this morning. That was actually due to some technical hitches we experienced, but thank God we up.
Yes. Remember, you can stream us live on YouTube and on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Don't forget to follow our live here at www.tvn.news.
All right. Let's quickly take a break. Welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa here on television Nigeria. Last night, the NCDC recorded another 91 fresh new cases.
Additional cases.
Yes, and now making it a total of 873 cases in Nigeria.
In as much as we want to see that it's a little bit below what we had 2 days back or 2 nights back. Remember, it was 117, then
Yes.
yesterday 91. It's still on the high side.
Very, very high.
That calls for serious concern.
Because if we're not careful, before the end of the week, we might be actually getting to 1,000 cases.
We're actually looking at a situation where we'll not be overwhelmed by this COVID-19, but the way it's going now, something needs to be done real fast. Else,
Exactly. I'm thinking about the federal government actually trying to allow the private hospitals to come in place in this if they find any solution, or if they know that they are going to get anything that's going to make the pandemic a bit lesser, then they should actually let them to be in place.
people have actually been looking into that, but the what another thing that people are actually feeling kind of reserved about is the clauses involved, like getting these medical facilities up to date on point is one thing people are actually looking at, to why or how this private hospital could be allowed to come in. And then, NCDC has to also play alongside the guidelines being given by the World Health Organization.
Exactly.
These are some of those things we need to look
Exactly,
into.
because it shouldn't be only the federal hospitals being allowed to get patients of this COVID-19. What if these private hospitals can handle it better than the federal?
It all depends on the facilities, like I just mentioned.
And it's well recorded that most private hospitals have better equipment and better facilities than the most federal.
Then when you look at how equipped these private hospitals are, now need to look at the cost, because like the personal protective equipment, PPE, you cannot use it more than once, and then one pack of it cost about, a piece of it costs about 80,000 naira from projections that we had, and then by the time you use that for one day, the next day, and just number the, as in take into consideration the number of nurses or people on duty that will be spending that amount of money from the government, from the private hospital.
I think the most fair would be that the private sector, the private hospitals precisely, we take advantage of the situation, owing that they are bigger hospitals and they have amenities to take care of.
What is basically required now is, if private hospitals are allowed to treat patients with COVID-19 cases, then it has to be a collaboration between them and the federal government, because if you leave everything to the private government and to the private hospitals, trust me, they will take advantage, like you said, and cash in on that.
Exactly. Now, the federal hospitals, NCDC, they conduct free tests for coronavirus.
Yes.
It can never and will never be the same light with the private hospitals.
Can we also talk about the need for leaders to address their subject at the moment, now that the tension is high?
Exactly.
Yes.
To calm their nerves.
I actually want to relate that to the video of Senator Smart Adeyemi we just saw, whereby it is very important for the leaders to actually talk to their subject at the moment, and then possibly help them relax their mind. And if these palliatives or other measures are being put in place to cushion the effect of the lockdown, it will go a long way in restoring people's confidence.
I actually want to see how they are going to handle it when Kogi finally records a case. Though we're not praying for that, but then when that happens, I want to see how they're going to. NAF, the Nigerian Air Force, celebrated their 56th anniversary, and they're actually talking about sharing palliatives to the vulnerable and the poorest people in the society to show their support to the federal government, and that was very impressive.
Yeah, quite a good one. Initially, like the case of COVID-19 has actually filled up everywhere. If not initially, when a celebration like this are about to be done, whether by the military or paramilitary, we get privy knowledge of it. But yesterday, residents were kind of, I don't want to put it like panicking, but they're kind of worried that several aircraft are flying over the roof. And then this comment is actually a good one, because they will know actually what happened yesterday. And then the NAF taking it a step further, raising the bar to give palliatives to people in support of the federal government during this COVID-19 is quite a good one. It's quite impressive, and it's highly commendable, like you said.
All right, no problem. So let's go and take a quick break now. Welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa here on Television Nigeria. Let's go through our newspaper reviews. For Daily Independent, the headline topping, States in trouble as federal allocation reaches record low. Below that, we have experts fear salaries, entitlements, capital projects may suffer. And below the headline, the picture headline, no policy against release of dead COVID-19 patients, Lagos government. Below that, confirms 23 new cases, 83-year-old woman dies, 2 more patients discharged in Oyo, Anambra index case test negative, community transmission fear grips FCT residents.
The story about federal allocation hitting all-time low.
Yes.
We need to talk about that because many people are actually worried what will become of many nations, many entities after the COVID-19 because a lot of people have been saying that the world will never be the same after COVID-19. And
the world will not be
we were talking about it, and I was telling people, okay, when you hear a statement like that, what comes to your mind? Most people is the negative impact of it. But you know, COVID-19 has actually made people to discover so many other things. Things
like countries looking inwards now.
Yes, we're actually making reference to locally made ventilators by Nigerians.
Exactly. What about the locally made hand sanitizers?
Exactly.
Face mask. Lots of things and improvements have actually been made.
So if those things are really well harnessed or tapped into, we can actually see a rise in our GDP subsequently.
Exactly.
Okay, away from that, let's take a look at headlines we have from the Guardian newspaper. And the banner headline we have from there says, Northern governors begin expulsion of Almajiris over coronavirus. And then below the nameplate, we have how oil subsidy removal may create more problems for Nigerians. And still below the picture story, why COVID-19 cases are rising by presidential task force. I think most people want to know why.
We want to know why the cases are actually increasing.
Okay, still from that paper, El-Rufai Recover says, I won't wish my enemy to contract COVID-19. Nigerian gate first journalists testing positive for coronavirus, talking about essential workers and then their exposure to some of this risk. Okay, let's pick a story from this newspaper and talk about it. The case of northern governors as expelling Almajiris from the street.
I don't really think that this was the right time for them to do that. They took them to Katsina State, and I'm asking, what if some of them had already contracted this disease? They're now going to Katsina again to increase the cases. Do they see it from that light? Is this really the best period to do that?
If an initiative like this is to be put in place, I think they have to follow a particular sequence or pattern. Like, okay, you take these people to a particular place, isolate them for that period of 14 days, and then get them tested.
Before you are actually sure, pushing them out
positive,
again.
They'll go into isolation and then possibly push the rest.
This wasn't actually needed because this is not the right time. There are lots of times in Kano State where people have complained of the Almajiris flocking around the streets. They never did anything about them. They never deported them back to where they're coming from. It is now when the COVID-19 is in place that they're actually bringing them. It doesn't make any sense.
And Nigerians want to look at it from this angle. Okay, because people feel, okay, these people are from particular part of the country and then nothing is being done about them. Now, seeing this action from this same part of the country that has been come under a series of criticism, it goes along with.
So should we begin to be scared that you can come and deport me back to my state? I fear for that. Let's go to Daily Trust. The news headline here: no template to reach poor Nigerians with electricity. Below that, free power not possible. Impact will be bleak, experts say. Absence of consumer fund, huge gap. Above the nameplate, Kano's situation remains worrisome. Federal government, actually, Kano State's condition is very worrisome.
There are a series of news that have been flying in from Kano State recently, like the governor coming to liaise with the federal government for possible, do I call it arms or maybe intervention? Let's put it that way. Yeah, that's the right word, intervention. And then other news.
What about the vaccine? The fake vaccine going about.
Thank God,
yesterday, I actually saw a picture thing about it. Yellow in container with even it's labeled, and I'm like, wonderful.
Okay, thank God some appropriate authorities actually came out to debunk that and asked the citizens not to patronize that. And then another news coming from Kano, from some quarters that they relaxed the lockdown.
Yes, for one day from 12 p.m.
because of some certain celebrations.
Exactly.
And
the Ramadan, for them to prepare for the Ramadan.
People were actually talking about that. And then for the federal government to say more worries concerning Kano, that we need to look into that.
I heard about some mysterious deaths happening in Kano.
Yes, about 150 in 3 days.
But they are not sure from what they are actually dying. That's the thing. Researchers
somebody actually came from an angle that are we not looking at it like, okay, it's because everybody is at home and then we get to see this thing. Ordinarily, it must have been happening all along, and then people go about their normal businesses.
Yes, and they are not aware. But now a lot of news will just be coming up. I feel it's specifically aimed at scaring the people.
True.
Below the name plates and the Daily Trust, still on Daily Trust, in Ramadan, look for new moon today, Sultan says.
Wow.
Federal government retest Chinese medical experts today. I'm sure people want to read about that, if it came out positive or negative.
Yeah, there are so many significances that come with some of this celebration, but I remember there was a particular year, I can't tell precisely, where the moon did not surface on time, and there was
shifted it.
There was even these people so serious concern about it, and people were actually talking about, okay, finally the moon has been seen, and it was like it brought about the beauty of the celebration way back then, and everybody was in a relaxed atmosphere. But 2020, the story is not the same. Or no thanks to COVID-19.
Besides that, we have 3 businesses thriving under lockdown at FCT suburbs. Wow, 3 businesses.
And people want to look into that.
Exactly.
Businesses.
Personally, I want to venture into one. Yesterday, when I was going back home, I realized a lot of people were outside, and it was disturbing because I noticed people are now opening their businesses gradually in the FCT. What could be going on?
When we took a look at the street grid yesterday, people were actually talking about
not being able to stay
coronavirus versus hunger virus, and gradually people are being like they just resort to go out damning the effect of okay, what if I contract the coronavirus or not? Okay, away from that, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper, and the banner headline we have from the Punch says evacuation, 72 Nigerians, 111 others Africans in China test positive. And above the nameplate, we have Umai under fire as Governor Slam's government has journalists with life ban. I saw that news yesterday, and I was wondering what actually led to that. A particular news group were actually banned from the government house for life, not throughout this tenure. And I was trying to look at the feasibility of it.
That means a lot of things are still happening amid the COVID-19.
Exactly.
Things that are not related to COVID-19.
Yeah.
So the government must still go on.
Still coming from the Punch newspaper above the nameplate, rising inflation signifies tougher times ahead. Federal government to repatriate 60 Nigerians freed from Tanzanian prisons. And below at the nameplate, Lagos probes woman's death during childbirth after Punch reports.
A woman's death after childbirth.
That was actually brought to the public by a report from Punch newspaper.
So, well, a lot of things are actually still happening. COVID-19 is covering a lot of things.
Yeah.
People are still dying as a result of other illnesses. Maternity death is still going up, and
recall that they normally tell you the press is the watchdog of the society.
Exactly.
So for Point to push out this story, and then actions have been taken after this, it's quite a good one.
Quite worrying, and
journalism
it's quite
taking effect.
Exactly. I just like the fact that Nigerians are trying not to let the COVID-19 case actually overwhelm them, cover up other situations happening in the country, because insecurity is still high despite COVID-19. One would have assumed that insecurity would have dropped because of COVID-19, but no, we still find killings in Kaduna yesterday, about 100 persons being killed, and where and when and how.
It's quite worrisome the way things are going, but I know definitely with you and I,
everything will be fine. At least the Kaduna State Governor, he's now tested negative to the virus. So he can
resume fully back to official duties and all.
Exactly.
Okay, there was another news of governors trying to enforce an interstate lockdown.
Yes. I actually read about that, but I didn't go in depth about that.
I hope from the news desk that
will be brought up. Let's quickly go to the news desk. Let's quickly go on a break.
My name is Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business, I mean your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services. You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern. Chiwendu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business, I mean your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services. You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all the social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Welcome back. This is still Daybreak Africa on Television Nigeria. As expected, people have been working from home amidst the lockdown, and we'll be taking a look at that message of people working from home.
Yeah,
while the lockdown is being enforced.
Yeah, lots of persons are still working from home with their system, and children still disturbing in the background. I was watching a video of a man making a video call with his clients, and the children from behind were actually opening the door, and the wife had to bend down and started dragging their legs back. So one way or the other, they are carrying out their businesses at home. But how effective is it?
No, people have been actually taking a look at possible after effect of the lockdown, where people were projecting that, okay, most companies will know that they can actually do without a whole lot of staff. So people are looking at possible layoff of many staff after the lockdown, because, okay, if one or two people can do this work, or people can work effectively, then there will be a cut in transport allowance and other allowances. Recall that the sole aim of every businessman is to make profit. So by the time you cut down, by the time you cut down the cost, profit will be enhanced.
That's apart from we essential workers. Right?
Exactly.
Let's quickly go to the street and hear from the people.
Hello and thanks for joining us on Television Nigerian. I am W.H.O. Consequence upon the lockdown occasioned by COVID-19, virtually all the countries of the world, people are compelled to work, study and carry out all their activities from home. This platform seeks to ascertain from our respondents in Nigeria and outside Nigeria how it has been like working from home and how this may influence their attitude to work post-lockdown. Let's find out.
I'm Dr. Hanim. I'm a lecturer. Currently, I'm teaching in Lim Kok Wing University of Creative Technology in Cyberjaya, Malaysia. So, for this, since the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been staying at home. We have been working from home and conducting online and virtual classes for my university students. It has been 3 weeks until today, and we just received news from our Prime Minister. Unfortunately, Malaysia is going to extend the lockdown because of this pandemic for another 2 weeks. That means it will be until the end of this month. So, because we have to stay at home, yeah, because we cannot go out to help the government from the outbreak. So we have to stay at home and we have to conduct online classes.
This is my dining where I've converted to my study room. You are welcome. Yes. Because most of our clients are also on lockdown as a result of the guideline given both home and abroad, we all have decided to pack up our business, suspend it for now, and focus on other important matters that are connected or related to our business in one way or the other. For that reason, I'm writing 2 books.
I want to share my experience about this movement control order and how we have been working from home. As you can see, this is my home and this is my mini office that I designed for myself since the lockdown order, since March 15 up to today, which is on the 4th of April, on the 9th of April, sorry, we have been on lockdown, meaning that we have to work from home. Actually, it affected mostly people. The only people that are not affected are those in essential services, those that are working in the health sector, and also those in the food and beverage industry, and especially those in the delivery industry. So those are the only ones that are not affected. But people like us who work in the university, who are lecturers or tutors, they've been asked to work from home. And since then, somehow it's not been easy. Transiting between working, in the classroom to working from home. Most of our students, and even most of us who are tutors, lecturers, we find it difficult, to work from home at the initial stage. But I can tell you one thing: it is good so far because positively it's improving us in using different kind of tools.
I'm reporting from Mina, Niger State capital. On the 25th of March 2020, the government of Niger State imposed dusk to dawn curfew from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. in order to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. These restrictions have largely been effective because the populace have been compliant due to the sensitization and awareness campaign which has been embarked upon by the government through the Niger State Task Force on COVID-19. The civil servants have been urged to work from home. But working from home has not been easy because of the technicalities involved, such as the internet connectivity, power supply, and other issues. Staying focused at home as well is also a big challenge because of the numerous distractions inherent in our homes. But then, with principle and discipline, one can easily work from home and achieve maximum productivity.
I'm a student at the University of Pretoria, South Africa. I'm currently studying Human Rights and Democratization with the Center for Human Rights. And we've been experiencing this lockdown for the past 2 weeks, and it's a pleasure to actually share my experiences with you. So it hasn't been that bad on one hand because lectures are still going on. We still have classes on Zoom from like 9 a.m. to sometimes 2 p.m., sometimes 4:30 p.m. with breaks in between. So we still get to engage with our lecturers and our colleagues and get to do our assignments, classwork. So it's not as bad. And for this reason, I'm really grateful to technology and what it has been able to achieve so far in the face of a pandemic. On the other hand, it has actually also disrupted some of our plans, physical plans. One of the key components of the program was the field trip that was going to be graded, and my group was supposed to go to Kigali, Rwanda, but because of the lockdown, we cannot go at the moment. And it would have been a very good exposure for all of us to engage with the authorities in Rwanda, do our field research, and come back, with new perspectives and views. And so, yeah, on one hand, it's not as bad, but on the other hand, it's really disruptive and has kind of put our lives on hold and stalled things. So I'm hoping the lockdown gets lifted very soon.
Poultry farmer based in Abuja. This lockdown has really affected not just my personal life, but my business as well. As a poultry farmer, the demand for our products such as eggs and chicken has gone down by almost about 80%. And for people who are into businesses that have to do with perishable goods like that, it can be very challenging because it means that you can only get about 20% of your product out, and 80% drop in demand means that there's going to be a lot of wastage. And not just that, sometimes not being able to move from my house to my farm, and I have to rely on my workers for information and all of that, I think is very, very challenging. But well, I think it's for the best because like the government and other health officials have announced or have advised, staying away as much as possible is the key to solving these issues.
It's not been easy, especially for those of us that are into private practice in the sense that we run our own businesses. Actually, it has taken a toll even on myself as a business person, because prior to now, I think I was engaged in lots of activities, providing consultancy services for businesses based in Abuja and outside Abuja. But at the moment, things have really slowed down because most clients are actually on shutdown also, and it has actually affected a whole lot. Nonetheless, I've been taking out time to invest in myself, reading, speaking with friends, following the news, and doing a couple of other activities just to keep my mind sane, because it's not really easy staying at home for 14 days, especially an active person like myself.
Here in Ilorin, Kwara State, it has not really been easy since the lockdown, although today makes it exactly 13 days of the lockdown. Tomorrow makes it exactly 2 weeks to completing our lockdown, although we add it's going to be extended, but it's not yet sure. I'm just hearing rumors. Since the lockdown, it has not been easy, just sleeping at home, waking up, sleeping, eating, waking up, the same routine every day. No source of income because we are not allowed to. And although I'm hearing some people are carrying rumors that 2 weeks will be added, we have to stay extra 2 weeks due to the discovered 2 new cases here in Ilorin. Although we haven't had anything from the government, like no official message yet, but we are still keeping our head up. Today's is kind of free. People are allowed to go out, get stuffs, go to the market, get things they need. I guess maybe it's because of the Easter, but trust me, Ilorin does not have a total lockdown. We've been allowed to go to eateries, get what we want, but not sit down.
Working from home has been easy for some and has helped a lot of respondents learn new things, while some are still finding it difficult to work from home. I am Chiwendu Osisiago, and don't forget you can follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter at Television Nigerian for more updates on COVID-19 lockdown. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks for joining us on AM News. I am Susan Achin. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved immediate payment of salaries owed to lecturers who are not enrolled in the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System (IPPIS). Following the refusal to enroll in the IPPS, some lecturers' salaries were withheld. However, President Buhari in Abuja on Tuesday asked that the arrears owed these lecturers be paid. Nigeria on Wednesday recorded 91 new cases of the novel coronavirus, according to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. In a tweet, the NCDC said 74 of those cases were recorded in Lagos and 5 in Katsina, while 4 were also recorded in Ogun, 2 were recorded in Delta, 2 in Edo, 1 in Kwara, 1 in Oyo, 1 in the FCT, and 1 in Adamawa. The country's total infections have now risen to 873. While deaths have risen to 28, at least 197 cases have been recorded from the disease. Now moving on to Ghana, the coronavirus case count in Ghana has increased to 1,154, which indicates an increase in 112 new cases since the last tally was released on April 19th when the president lifted a partial lockdown. The country has also recorded 120 recoveries. This was announced by the Ghana Health Service at a press briefing on Wednesday, April 22nd, 2020 in Accra. Now in Madagascar, the World Health Organization has said that there is no proof of a cure for COVID-19 after Madagascar's president launched a herbal coronavirus cure. The country's National Medical Academy, ANAMEN, has also cast doubt on the efficacy of Audrey Rajoelina's touted prevention and remedy. It said it had the potential to damage people's health as its scientific evidence had not been established. The plant-based tonic is to be given free of charge to the most vulnerable. Launched as COVID Organics, it is produced from the Artemisia plant, the source of an ingredient used in the malaria treatment and other Malagasy plants. Now, the 36 state governors in Nigeria have recommended a 2-week interstate lockdown to stop the spread of COVID-19 in the country. The decision was taken during a meeting of the governors on Wednesday, a day after the Nigeria Center for Disease Control confirmed 117 new coronavirus cases in the country. Chairman of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Governor Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, said the interstate lockdown would help halt the continued rise in the number of cases as well as the spread of the pandemic. Now moving on to the world of business, global remittances are forecast to decline by about 200% this year as the economic crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic shuts down business activities, according to the World Bank. This is the sharpest decline on record for what has become a lifeline for many people in Africa and elsewhere. Migrant workers will not send as much money home because their employment and pay is vulnerable. Globally, money sent home by workers abroad to low and middle income countries is forecast to fall by about $45 billion. The decline for sub-Saharan Africa is predicted to be and amounts to $37 billion this year. Now on the entertainment scene. 10 years after the demise of Oladapo Olaiton Olanipekun, popularly known as Da Green, rapper M.I. Abaga has eulogized the late rapper. He took to his social media to share stories of himself and Da Green to mark the 10th anniversary of the rapper's death. M.I. in a series of tweets on Wednesday shared his experience with Da Green and how much the rapper inspired his second album, MI2. The former Chocolate City rapper and boss narrated how Da Green lyrics and the wide acceptance of the late rapper's CEO album inspired him towards making the album. Now lastly, and in the world of sports, Tottenham stars Serge Aurier and Moussa Sissoko were forced to apologize on Tuesday after flouting government's guidelines on social distancing during the coronavirus. Ivory Coast defender Aurier posted a video of himself training with club teammate Sissoko on Instagram earlier in the day. The 27-year-old, who was wearing a mask, has since deleted the videos which showed him running shuffles and sitting next to France's midfielder Sissoko. Thanks for joining us, and that was AM News. My name is Susan Achin. We now join Josephine Paul for news across Africa.
This is news across Africa on Daybreak Africa. Madagascar President Andry Rajoelina has officially launched a medicine he believes can prevent and cure patients suffering from COVID-19. Developed by the Madagascar Institute of Applied Research and branded COVID Organics, President Rajoelina presented the so-called remedy to press on Monday. It contains Astamecia, a plant cultivated on the Big Island to fight against malaria. All trials and tests have been conducted, and its effectiveness in reducing the elimination of symptoms have been proven from the treatment of patients from COVID-19 in Madagascar, the president said.
So today I think that I am convinced, in fact, that history will prove us right. But today there are already 2 cases that have been cured with the COVID organics, but we'll actually see what happens next.
A court in the Ugandan capital Kampala has convicted 6 Chinese nationals for escaping from COVID-19 quarantine back in March. Nakawa Court Chief Magistrate Ruth Nabasa convicted them upon their own plea of being guilty for disobeying lawful orders, an act likely to spread infection of a disease. Sentencing has been reserved till March 4th, when the court hopes to get an interpreter for proceedings. The day's interpreter refused to continue his duty in protest against unpaid fees. 44 suspected Boko Haram terrorists were found dead in their cells in a Chad prison last week. Officials said the 44 were among a group of 58 suspects captured during a major army operation around Lake Chad marshlands launched by President Idriss Deby early this month. Yusuf Tom, the Chadian public prosecutor, said, "We did a head count. We found that only 44 of 58 prisoners were actually called back to God, under circumstances we don't know about." An autopsy carried out on 4 of the dead prisoners revealed traces of latent substance that had caused heart attacks of severe asphyxiation, the public prosecutor added.
We did a head count. We found that only 44 out of 58 prisoners were actually called back to God, under circumstances we don't know about.
After 3 weeks, Ghana became the first African nation to lift the coronavirus lockdown on its 2 biggest cities, Accra and Kumasi. President Akufo-Addo on Monday defended the decision of government to lift the partial lockdown. He announced the lifting on Sunday, April 19, at a time cases had surpassed 1,000 and a number of people expected an extension. Non-essential businesses will now be allowed to open while the wearing of masks is encouraged. Non-essential businesses will now be allowed to open while the wearing of masks is encouraged, but there are still bans on large gatherings and schools will remain closed. Economic activity returned to the areas in earnest as at Monday morning. This is news across Africa on Daybreak Africa.
Welcome back. That was news across Africa. About $37 billion will be lost says the sub-Saharan Africa because of the COVID-19?
Yes, ordinarily with the main drivers of every economy, or with all spheres of economy being affected by the coronavirus, it's something that everybody in the world need to brace up for.
Exactly.
Like the oil is down, every other sector is down. So
we should be
and recall that Nigeria actually just stepped out of recession since the inception of this present administration.
Should Nigerians be getting prepared to go into recession?
We plunged into recession, and then due to stellar leadership qualities by the people in power at the moment, we were able to come out of the recession, and now COVID-19 coming through with another one again. So we need to brace up for another tough times. That's not just to create panic in the minds of people, just for us to get ready and then work out modalities on how well we can just deal with it.
And this is globally.